Christine from Billings Farm, and today I'm going to show you how you can make some butter at home with just a few simple things. So what you're going to need is heavy cream. Sometimes this is called heavy whipping cream. It's the same thing. And actually what cream is part of milk. So when you get milk straight from the cow, it's called whole milk. And it usually has around 3% fat content, which means 3% of that is butter fat. And if you don't homogenize milk, the cream rises to the top and you're able to get it off of the top. You can also separate it with a special machine. So cream is the good part of milk. So you're going to need some heavy cream, a jar. You can use either plastic or glass. I'm going to use glass today. You're going to need some cold water and a strainer to rinse your butter once it's done. So I'm going to start by filling this jar up about 1/3 of the way full with the cream. You want to make sure that you leave room for it to slosh around, because that action of it moving around is what's going to make it able to turn into butter. So I'm going to make sure that I put it on the top really nice and tight. And you can see we're going to start with a liquid, right? Cream is a liquid, and as we shake, it's going to go through several different states. So I'm going to start shaking. Some people put marbles in here to help it turn into butter a little bit faster. It also helps if your cream is at about room temperature. So you could just take it out of the fridge for a little while and leave it there. And the first thing that's going to happen to the cream is it's going to turn into whipped cream. So you'll kind of notice that it will thicken, and you can hear it sloshing around right now. And once it gets to the whipped cream stage, it's not going to slosh quite so much. Ooh. And while I'm shaking, I can talk a little bit about where we are right now. So we're in the creamery of our 1890 farm manager's home. So this is where they would have produced butter in 1890. So this house had 3 different purposes. The farm manager's family lived here. So it was a home. The farm manager did business here. So it was a place for people to come and learn. And it also was a factory, a butter factory. So this was cutting edge at the time. You can see all the different tools that people made or used to make butter. And I can feel that my butter is starting to turn into whipped cream. So I'm going to open it up and take a look. Yeah, so you can see inside. I don't know if you can see on the camera. I'll come a little closer. You can see on the inside that it's turned into whipped cream. It has that nice texture. So it's gone from a liquid to kind of a semi-solid. And to get butter, we have to keep shaking. So we'll put our top back on really nice and tight so we don't get cream everywhere, or whipped cream at this point. We'll keep shaking. So here at Billings Farm, we have Jersey cows, and that's because when this farm was founded, they decided that the crop that they wanted to produce was butter. And Jersey cows have a really high butter fat content in their milk, which makes them really ideal for making butter. So behind me, you can see, rather this way, this is our swing churn. So maybe you've seen old images of people who were churning butter by hand with the old dasher churns. They weren't doing that in 1890s here. So we had actually a swing churn that is powered by a water motor. And it could make about, let's say about 30 pounds of cream at a time, or butter at a time. They're making about 100 pounds of butter a week here. Okay, so I can tell now, I can hear it start to slosh again. So that means, if you look at it, we have now a solid and a liquid in here. So we have the solid, that's the butter, and we have a liquid, and that's buttermilk. And buttermilk is actually the byproduct of making butter. So I'm just gonna shake it just a little bit more. When you really hear the buttermilk, that's when you know you've got your butter. So I'll come show the camera what it looks like. So now you can see, oops, spilled a little buttermilk. You can see the butter and the buttermilk. The buttermilk is really good for cooking. It's a little different from the buttermilk that you buy in the store. A lot of the buttermilk that you buy in the store is actually cultured, and this is not. So what we're gonna do is put the butter into this strainer, just a regular strainer here, and I have it in a crock down here to catch the buttermilk, so you could save it for cooking. So I just poured out all the buttermilk, and you'll see the butter fall out. A little stuck. There we go. Wow. So our last step is going to be to wash the butter out. You want to try and get as much of the buttermilk out of the butter as possible. That'll help keep it from spoiling. So you just want to take some cold water, some about ice cold water. You could even do this in your sink, and just pour it over the butter. And use like a wooden spoon. I have a little wooden paddle to kind of press it to make sure that we get all of the buttermilk out. So we're just rinsing. And then I'm pressing, cleaning. Trying to get any last bits of buttermilk out of there. We have some pretty nice butter. So you can salt it if you like. In the 1890s, they would have put a ton of salt in it, or just leave it plain, and you can get a cracker or a piece of bread and enjoy. All right, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions about making butter, make sure to leave them below, and we'll get around to answering them. Thanks. Yeah, you could put on your favorite song, you could dance around a little bit.